So, welcome back to my channel, Mispronounced Adventures. This episode is going to be looking at some of the security related upgrades I put in when I was building the van, see how they've worked sort of over the last year or so, and then installing some new ones as well. So one of the first upgrades I did to the van was to install the dash cam and the Autovox V5, which was one of the first videos I did, and quite a few of you have bought them through the Amazon store over the course of the last 2 years almost. So the unit itself is great. I primarily use it as a reversing camera, mainly so it's far easier for me to park. However, it does have a front-facing camera as well and a rear-facing camera, which are always recording. It only saves the videos when it has like the G sensor goes off, which is either if you hit something or if you go over a particularly big bump or if you do an emergency stop, then it saves that surrounding bit of that clip. Or if I do some terrible driving maneuver, it also saves that for me as well. It will also save every clip, but then automatically rewrite over the top. So even if you don't set the sensor off, you will have about, I think it's maybe 2 days worth of footage stored on the SD card, depending on your SD card size, and then you can go back and pull any particular bit you want, and anything which you did set off with the sensor is locked and isn't auto-deleted. Overall, I think it's a great camera, but the way I've got the rear camera mounted, where it points directly down so I can see the bumper when I'm reversing, means I don't have a very good rear-facing camera, so it doesn't actually look backwards. Next up is the NEOsmart cams. So I've got 2 of them. I've got one in the habitation area and one in the cab. These are great. So these, when I bought them, I think were just about £23 or something like that. And the main reason I went for these ones is they were cheap and they didn't have a necessary subscription service you had to sign up for. They do have a subscription service if you want longer clips. And I find they work really well. So when they've got an SD card or micro SD card put in them, they record 24/7. But the main feature is what I use it for, is if when you go onto the app, a bit like this, and you put your armed mode, if there are any movement in the vehicle or outside, because the front facing camera looks out of the main windows, then it automatically saves that clip and then sends it to your phone. And those cameras are connected to the van's Wi-Fi, so I can also log into the cameras remotely and check what's going on. More often than not, when I'm away working overseas, I leave the van in I have to leave the van in different locations, normally with the clients, and then I turn the cameras on so I get a notification if anyone is looking in the window of the van, or more often not, if someone drives past. And they are also work in the dark as well, and automatically switch over to nighttime and daytime mode. For the price of them, I've been very happy, and I think they're a great system. I did also find that the NEOsmart cams were really quite helpful for video making. So there are definitely quite a few shots I've pulled off the cameras after events happen, such as the Norwegian customs vehicle chasing me down, or them using a sniffer dog in the back of the van, or when the van got thrown around by the wind up near Nordkapp in the winter, and then occasionally from Prague, strange people doing lunges outside. Tracking wise, in the van I've got I don't have any official trackers at the moment, but we'll get onto that later on. So I use a USB GPS connected to my Victron VRM, which is how I monitor all the van's electrics remotely, so I can see battery levels, the solar coming in, things like that. But on top of that, what I can also do is when you have the USB GPS plugged in, you can also track the vehicle. You can set up geofences if you really wanted to, and you can also download all of your previous footage. So here you can see all of my European trips and where I've driven, because that's always been logging that information. And I think that's a really good little device. There are a few other security upgrades in the van. I'm not going to tell you about the security upgrades which are kind of integrated into the vehicle, because that's not particularly helpful for me. But there are lots of different companies out there which do different types of immobilisers and alarm systems and so on. However, one of the cheap upgrades I'm going to do, or something I'm going to look at, is I'm going to install a CarLock. And to be honest, there have been so many YouTubers at the minute, like Neil from Vanlife or Greg Verger advertising these as well, who are not, there's no way a sponsored video whatsoever. At the minute, there's an Amazon Prime sale on, and it was half price, and it was about £23, I think. So I wanted to go for one of these. And yes, trackers can be foiled. Thieves who are known for stealing vehicles do use GPS blockers, but having some sort of tracker it's better than having no tracker whatsoever. And at some point they might take that GPS blocker away from the vehicle, then having a tracker is a good option. So I went for the CarLock. So let's have a look. There are two versions of it. You can have one which is the OBD2 port, which I think only uses the positive, and uses it for positive negative wires. I've gone for the sort of standalone one, which you can just wire in. So apparently it's got a multi-network SIM card in it, I guess, so you can get the information out. It doesn't need to connect to the Wi-Fi on my van, like the NEOsmart cameras I've got, and gives you real-time monitoring about what's going on. Right, so let's open it up. Activation card. So that has my serial number on, which is probably something I'd best not show on the internet. And that's more or less the unit. 3M tape, and then you just power it up. So being a tracker, again, it's something which could be fooled by a GPS jammer and taken out, but I thought it would be better to have something which might work than nothing which doesn't work, which is not going to do anything. It's meant to be a 2-minute installation. Right, well, I'm going to go install it. I'm not going to show you where I'm going to install it, and we'll be back in a second. So got the app running. It's on the iPad because I do most of the filming on the iPhone. To be honest, it's very self-explanatory. You sign up for an account, you put in the activation code and the serial number of the unit which comes with it, then you're presented with this. So it's all up and running. The unit's got a bunch of flashing lights which tell you different things. It is very easy to install. You do have to, however, sign up for an account. So I knew anyway. So I think the one I've signed up for at the minute is sort of like £6.95 a month, which, you know, might be too expensive for some people, but I guess it's the peace of mind on your vehicle. However, after the first setup, you need to go for a bit of a drive so you can get the GPS all found. So we're going to go do that. So we're going to go for a little drive, just because it says it wants a little drive to recalibrate, well, to get your first sort of proper GPS fix. So let's see how that goes. Well, after a short little drive, it found the GPS. That seems to be working. It's currently in a learning mode. So it'll do this for about a week to learn different cell towers and your behaviours and blah blah blah. You can already read about it. One of the interesting features it seems to have is something called a smart lock, which is an extra device you've got to buy, but it seems you could attach that to your van keys. So when you leave the van, it automatically arms the unit. Yeah. And if you pay for higher end subscription package for an extra £1, then you get access to rating your driving scores and more graphics and so on and so forth. So for the CarLock system, yeah, tracking seems to work quite well. It will take a week or two to get into full use, I think, because it wants to learn my driving habits, which I'm not sure if I actually want to see a scored result of that. Anyway, I'll probably do a video or mention it in a video further down the line after I've had it for a couple of months, so I can actually give my opinion on it. But so far, it seems to be a good work as a tracker. So a lot of these kind of security upgrades are sort of like peace of mind for me. They're not looking at the security upgrades you could get for immobilisers and so on. It's more sort of peace of mind ones. So, and the one I've been particularly looking for, and if anyone has any ideas or recommendations on products, I'd love to hear, is I want exterior cameras on the van. And there's a few companies out there, but it seems a lot of hit and miss with the quality of the actual camera units themselves, the quality of the video quality, the quality of the IR, and the quality of how you interact with the units. So more or less, I want 7-inch odd screen, which I could view maybe 4 cameras on, and have that visible inside the vehicle, because I'll probably have a screen up near my bed. So when you hear things at night, you can turn it on and have a look. But it seems the rare option is an app where you could have that connected to your internet in your van, and I can then access the exterior cameras of the van remotely. Because I think for when I'm working away overseas and I leave the van, usually in secure places anyway, it's nice to have the peace of mind, be able to see what's going on. Or if anything did happen, such as I was in a car park and someone does smash their door into the side of me, leaves a big dent and drives off, it would be great if I could look back on the exterior cameras and see, you know, who did that, potentially get their number plate sort of thing. But that's pretty much going to end this video. A bit of a shorter one, looking at some of the security related upgrades I put in the past and how I got on with them. The new one I'm putting in as a new tracking system, and hopefully some recommendations from what you guys have in your vans, which you think is a worthwhile product. And if anyone's got any recommendation on camera systems. But if you, any of the things that you've seen in this video, you can find them on the Amazon affiliate link store in the description for the video if you want to purchase one yourself, and I get a few quid back on that, which is always a great way to support the channel. But if not, thank you very much anyway for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, bye.